Hello everybody, Joe Bagadones here. Welcome back to another episode of Umineko. Last time we left off, George opened up about how he used to be a bit of a fuckboy, which, I mean, yeah, I can tell. You know, you didn't really have to say it out loud, we all knew. But, things advanced. Erica made children cry. You know, long lifetime pastime of mine. Also, I'm just going to check real quick, because I forgot before I started recording to check how much memory I have available for storage. Alright, 35.4 gigabytes. We're good. We got plenty of room. I just don't want to have my recording stop in the middle again, like I did a couple episodes ago, and me being like, huh, weird. It sure would be crazy if, like, all my footage got corrupted because it just, like, cut off in the middle, but it seems OBS is good, and it, like, actually ends the recording instead of just like having it, you know, stop abruptly and who knows what happens to the data. Anyway, I just woke up. I'm tired. I did schoolwork for 14 hours yesterday. I did not record yesterday because of said schoolwork. It was a rough one. It was a rough one, boys. And then I proceeded to sleep for 12 hours. So it's almost, it's past 5 a.m. now, so by the time this video's done recorded and, you know, processed and uploaded, it's probably gonna be a little late, from the 7 a.m. Eastern time, the time where I try to upload all my videos. I'm already mostly the way through an entire pot of coffee, but I don't think I'll make another pot after. I was gonna say, like, oh yeah, I got some of my German fucking, Shaka Cola or whatever. My caffeine-infused chocolate, but I don't think you guys want to hear me, like, munching on chocolate when I'm recording. And chocolate, like, makes your throat all gross and gooey. So, not the best microphone noises. Some people might be into that kind of ASMR, but not me. I fucking hate hearing people's fucking throat noises and, like, hearing them chew. Anyway, I'm not going to go off about my father once again. It feels like all I do is complain about my dad. And then I'm going to complain anyway. He chews so goddamn loud. Like, I'm surprised his teeth don't shatter when he's eating. And God forbid he's eating, like, yogurt or something, because he'll need to fucking chew the yogurt. I don't know, man. He's a different breed.
バトラさん、いつ事件が始まるんです？もう恋愛ごっこお腹いっぱいなんですけど。
Look, you'll appreciate chick flicks once you get older.
黙って見ていろ。
はいはい。私があくびでもした隙に何かとんでもない伏線を通過されたらたまりませんから。
お前には愛はないのか？
愛が証拠として受理されるミステリーってあるんですか？ありませんから。
Erica laughed coldly and stared down at the two on the game board. Battler watched her quietly. Erica thought she felt a touch of pity in his gaze, and she averted her eyes uncomfortably.
一応理解はしてますとも、愛が殺人の動機程度にはなりうることくらい。
Sure, you're looking for it in, like, I don't know, the motive.
一応この東屋での出来事は2人の婚約に障害が生じた場合、犯行の動機となりうる程度には解釈しとこうと思います。まあ赤くない言葉でいくら愛をささやこうとも全ては幻ですが。
かわいそうにな。
Yeah, really laying it on thick.
お前は魔女に証拠が与えられなかったら人も愛せないんだな。
くだらない恋愛トークはやめてください。私はあんたの敵であって恋の話に付き合う酔狂な友人ではありませんから。私には今のあんたがさっぱりわかりません。
Anymore? What do you mean anymore?
一体あんたは何を悟ったってんです？
No, once he reached the truth.
あんたとベアとは罵り合い殺し合う関係だったはず。そのあんたが何の真相に至ってベアトに対する感情を変えたんですか？
You know what they say about love and hate.
まさか殺し合うライバル関係から恋愛感情が芽生えたとかバカなこと言い出さないですよね。エリカ卿、
ゲームの進行を続けさせましょう。
Yeah, you're the one holding up the game that you're complaining about that
退
isn't
屈な恋
progressing.
愛シーンなどとっとと終わらせるに限ります。
ほんとそうですね。口を挟んで失礼。ささ、どうぞ続きを。
Ugh. Honestly, once I'm done recording, I'll probably just go back to bed again.
シャノ
Nothing
ン
like
で
a
す。
sleeping for 20 hours in one day.
戻りました。
うん。今日の日誌はまだだな。
はい。
Fill out the fucking logbook, Shannon.
すぐに提出します。
You need to know what the previous shift did so that way you don't end up going to redo things that are already done or you skip over things that you thought would have been done but aren't, but then your previous shift never documented them so you don't know. We have a logbook at work. Ask me how I feel about it.
カノン君、留守番をありがとう。
Or to be more specific, ask me how I feel about when people don't fucking update the logbook.
長い休み時間だったね。
Like, how am I supposed to know which planes I need to upload the fucking worldwide nav database to every month, you know, if you don't put down which ones you already did? Kenan had already noticed. There was a silvery glint coming from the ring finger on Shannon's left hand.
では、私は先に休む。何かあったら構わず起こすように。
Now go enjoy your nap, old man.
おやすみなさいませ、源氏様。
Genji disappeared off to the waiting room. After that, only Shannon and Kenan
時
remained.
間をくれてありがとう。あとは私が控えてるから、カノン君ももう休んでもいいよ。
今度は僕の手番ってことだね。
Yep.
悪いけど、私たちは負けないよ。
僕だって負けるものか。
今日まで臆病で、お嬢様にリードしてもらわなければ何もできなかった君が。
Time for a, astounding
姉
comeback.
さんが教えてくれたはずだよ。
何を教えたかな。
恋に昔も過去も関係ない、今だけが重要なんだって。もしそれが本当なら、僕の今は姉さんの今に何も負けてるなんて思わない。
Shannon and Kenan glared at each other with serious eyes. That period of tension vanished when Shannon chuckled.
それでいいよ。君とお嬢様も頑張って。もしも結ばれるなら、私たちが心の底から祝福できるくらいに素敵な関係になって。
姉さんにかなりのリードを許してるけどね。
仕方ないよ。それが君のこれまでの臆病の対価なんだ
You're a
か
bit of a
ら。
late bloomer.
分かってる。
Nothing wrong with that, though.
それが僕の罪だから。
Shannon and Kenan fished around in their pockets and drew out two small things that glittered gold. They looked like the left and right wings of a gold butterfly.
私たちは神。人間になって愛を育む奇跡を得るには、もう一度魔法の奇跡を頼らなくてはならない。
Whatever you need to tell yourself.
あいつのブローチが役に立つなんて。
私たちの手元にある唯一の魔法。
It was the golden butterfly brooch, which Beatrice had once given to Shannon in the hopes of creating love between her and George. Shannon had given it to Kenan, but he had let his emotions get a hold of him and had crushed it into pieces. So, when the two wings they held were brought together, he would regain the form of a beautiful butterfly.
じゃあ行ってくる。僕もトランプに一応呼ばれてたからね。
頑張ってね、お嬢様。きっと喜ぶと思う。
少し照れるな。
You'll get over it.
楽しんで、その感情を。
Yeah, the feeling of embarrassment's what you deserve for being a little fucking edgy boy, for the past couple of years. Kenan left the servant room. He went to go see Jessica and tell her what he had determined to do. Shannon quietly watched him go. The fragment of the brooch and the engagement ring let off a gold and silver glint.
懐かしいぞ。 あれは確かにわらわがシャノンに与えたもの。
Yeah, back when you fucking, roped her into smashing that mirror.
カノンが踏みつぶして以来どこへ紛失したかと思っていたらまだ持っていたのか。
黄金蝶のブローチですね。恋愛を助ける魔法のブローチとフェザリーヌさんの本で読みました。
Yeah, and then Cannon had his big fucking fit after Jessica's concert, and he's like, oh, and he fucking smashed it, I'm pretty sure. And that had been the first moment that Beatrice, Witch of the Forest, had met with a human and given them her power. Bit by bit, she had ascended from a mere ghost to the ruler of the mansion at night, and by making the servants believe in her, she had wiped away the anti-magic power. And then, it eventually became possible for her to appear openly in front of Shannon, whose magic resistance had grown particularly low and who had begun to believe in the existence of Beatrice. To Beato, who had been unable to interact with anyone for many years, this conversation with Shannon must have been especially fun.
だから気前よく黄金蝶のブローチを与えてやったのだ。わらわは相当上機嫌であったのだな。わらわのごとき冷酷な魔女がそこまでサービスをするとは。
でも素敵です。あなたは未来の恋人たちの仲を取り持たれたのですから。
Just to, tear apart later.
もちろん甘やかしたつもりはないぞ。わらわの魔力を抑えつけてきたあの肉々しい霊境を割ることと引き換えだ。そのおかげでわらわは一気に力を取り戻すことができたのだから。
しかしある夜、紫の雷が鎮守の社を打ち砕いたのです。島々の者たちは協調だとささやき合いました。
Yeah, seems pretty fucking ominous.
今思えば、あれこそがベアトリーチェ様復活の印だったに違いありません。
Kumasawa had the rest of the night off, so she had let Erica talk her into drinking a bit. She was chatting about the legend of Akujikima. Oh, so many E's in that. Akujikijima. There we go. Akujikijima. And Beatrice in a happy, tipsy mood. Erica would nod from time to time, but she listened ever closely. She wasn't actually taking notes, but she was gathering the information on the whiteboard inside her head. Then she frowned as though noticing something out of place and held up her hand.
ちょっとストップを。
はい。
その鎮守の社は悪食島の悪霊を封じるために旅の修験者が建立した。そうでしたね。
Mm-hmm.
ええ、そうでございます。強い神通力をお持ちだったということで、その力を鏡に込め、
霊境として社に奉納し、悪霊を封印した。
Yep.
少し違和感を覚えます。悪食島の悪霊を封印する社がどうしてベアトリーチェを封印するんです？
It shouldn't theoretically apply to her, but maybe they're close enough.
はあ。
It's like, I don't know, using fucking roach spray to spray a beehive and it still works.
それはその霊境の神通力が。
Yeah, Magic MacGuffin just hand wave
な
it.
るほど。東洋の悪霊も西洋の魔女も OK の便利な霊境だったからというわけですか。わかりました。すっきりはしませんが、そこは折れることにしましょう。しかしどうしてベアトリーチェが蜘蛛の巣も嫌うのかわかりません。
They're gross. Well, it's because their, avatar is a butterfly. According to the legend, the evil spirits of Akujikijima despise spiderwebs, so they were apparently used as wards against evil on the islands around here. Actually, spiders are a useful bug. The farmers of the island may well have treasured them. It's very possible that the farmers called them wards against evil, tying them to the stories about evil spirits, in order to create a tradition of people treating this useful bug with care through the generations.
しかしそれ、悪食島伝説の話です。 そもそもベアトリーチェの魔女伝説の発祥はこの島に引っ越してきた後宮金蔵が
Yeah, it's fairly modern.
ミステリアスな黄金伝説とそれを授けた魔女という名の愛人を風潮してから始まったものです。つまり悪食島の悪霊と
No, a
黄金
cryptid
の
of
魔
the
女
new
ベアトリ
age.
ーチェは本来
But not like
全く
new,
異な
new,
る
not like
存
an
在のは
internet
ずなんで
cryptid.
す。
You know, those are just called creepypastas.
なのに設定が同じになっています。
さてはて。
The evil spirits of Akujikijima couldn't stand spiderwebs. So, now there could Beatrice. This sort of reasoning has been applied all over the place. When it is pointed out that this was strange, Kumasawa was lost for an answer.
金蔵さんの書斎のドアノブは誘いの魔法陣が描かれてい
Yeah,
る。
at least that
それ
tracks.
は西洋魔術では魔除けを意味する。だから西洋魔女のベアトリーチェはドアノブに触れられない。これは理解できるんです。でも雲の巣に限ってはベアトリーチェが嫌う理由がありません。私の知る限りでも西洋魔女の苦手なものに雲の巣があったという記憶はありません。
I mean, it's like bog standard, you know, creepy witch cabin aesthetic, you know, to have some spiderwebs in the corner.
むしろ雲は魔女の仲間や眷属では思うに悪食島伝説の悪霊と魔女伝説のベアトリーチェ。
Oh, give me a second. I had some kimchi before I started eating with my dinner. Then I got like a runny nose now. It wasn't particularly spicy. It's just, you know, enough to get like get my nose running, which not great to record with.
この2つの異なる伝説が少し混交しているように思います。
Yeah, it's fairly apparent that, you know, Beatrice co-opted some of the past legends in order to more like naturally, you know, I don't know, fit in, synthesize, you know, make it a more, you know, not seamless transplant, but you know what I mean.
いいえ、混交どころか融合かもしれません。悪食島伝説は六軒島周辺の暗礁を恐れた漁民たちが生み出したおとぎ話。しかし悪食島に住まう悪霊なる者には
Yeah, because,
具
you know,
体的なビジュアルイ
you
メージ
can't
が
see the
伴ってい
reef.
ません
That's
でし
the
た。
problem.
人なのか怪物なのかはたまた足のない幽霊なのかさっぱりイメージがありません。人はビジュアルを伴わない空想を苦手とします。そこにベアトリーチェという魔女の伝説が登場した。悪霊よりは魔女の方が想像しやすい存在です。しかもその
It's a whole lot
金
less
蔵さんは
abstract.
ベアトリーチェの肖像画を描かせ掲示しました。つまり悪食島伝説の一番の弱点、たたる悪霊のビジュアルイメージが初めて保管されたわけです。そこからいつの間にか2つの伝説が混じり合っていってしまったのではないでしょうか。
And you can easily go, oh yeah, fucking Beatrice just leads you know, a pack of, you know, more abstract, you know, nebulous evil spirits, and you just go like, yeah, okay. But you know, you have a focal point.
どうでございましょうね。この老いぼれには少し難しい話にございます。
You know, when things get lost over the years in oral, you know, traditions. Kumasawa laughed to smooth it over, wiping away a cold sweat. She might have seemed confused, but she actually did understand what Erica was saying. In truth, she did have a rough understanding about the legend of Akujikijima, which had been around before Ushiromiya Kinzo had come to Rokenjima, and the legend of the Golden Witch, the story of the woman who had given Kinzo a vast quantity of gold, had changed over time. She didn't want to admit it, but she knew. Beatrice's backstory, that she hated the spirit mirror and spiderwebs, had actually been based off the ancient legend of Akujikijima. The evil spirits, evil spirits part of the legend that had just been replaced by the witch of the portrait.
もし黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェを自称する人物がいたとして彼女が本当に蜘蛛の巣を嫌うのかどうかぜひ聞いてみたいものです。触れるとどうなるんでしたっけ？
魔女の眷属は蜘蛛の巣に触れるとやけどを負うそうですから多分そうなるんじゃないかと。
I don't know, Kumasaro. Sounds like you're kind of making it up on the spot.
いいじゃないですか。それ見事な魔女裁判です。
Yeah, we're stuck to be Beatrice taking a walk in the woods and just, you know how it is when you walk. You're going on a nice forest hike, and then all of a sudden you just kind of feel the spider web hit your face. Not a very nice feeling in the best of times, but if it starts burning immediately after.
蜘蛛の巣に触れてやけどするならばそれは悪霊の方であって魔女ではない。そして触れても何も起こらないのであればただの人間であることの証。つまりやけどしようがしなかろうが黄金の魔女など存在しないという証になります。魔女伝説なんて所詮悪事木島伝説が装いを変えただけの焼き直しに過ぎないのです。ただ伝説がそこにあるだけでフルドエリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。いかがです皆様方？
I mean, it wasn't the hardest conclusion to come to. You just gotta sit down and think about it for 10 minutes. Kind of actually mull over the details and be like, wait a minute. Though only the two of them were in the lounge, Erica faced in the direction of an invisible audience, in the direction an invisible audience would have been if there were one, and shrugged. And, to match Erica's imagination, the two of them actually were there, listening in.
蜘蛛の巣ですか？触れるとやけど？
She's like, why? That's dumb. When Beato the Elder snapped her fingers, a graceful silver spider slipped down from the ceiling hanging by a transparent thread. Afterwards, only a single silver strand remained. Timidly, Beato stretched her finger out towards the spider's string, and she touched it.
平気です。
平気なのか？
Well, yeah, she's not selling it, She doesn't know this is part of the kayfabe. Beato the Elder lifted up a white pale finger, and after showing it to her little sister, she traced the silver string with it. There was a stench like a single hair being burnt. Once again, she held her finger up in front of Beato, who was dumbfounded. There was a thin burn line, as though someone had traced along it with a razor.
これはどういうことですか？
わらわが聞きたい。どうしてそなたは平気なのか？
わかりません。むしろ逆にどうしてお姉様が蜘蛛の巣に触れるとやけどをするのかわかりません。
わからぬ。わらわが自らの存在を意識した時からそういうことになっていた。
ではお姉様は
An evil spirit? Beato hesitated. However, the question was clear.
違う。わらわは悪事木島の悪霊などではない。わらわは六軒島の夜を支配する魔女ベアトリーチェである。どうしてこの島の太古の悪霊と同じ弱点を持つのかはわらわにもわからぬ。
Oh, because you were designed to.
苦手なのは蜘蛛の巣だけですか？
エリカとやらが言うように金蔵の書斎のドアノブもダメだ。
Alright, let's go there next.
あのサソリの魔法陣はわらわを焼く。わらわにとって金蔵の書斎の扉を開けようとするのは真っ赤に焼けた蹄鉄を渦中に拾うのと同じこと。
I went winter camping as a kid once, like to go ice fishing, and it was real cold. It was like -10 out. So, being a dumb kid, just playing around in the snow, fucking making snowballs, building a little igloos, whatnot. I'm like, man, I can't feel my hands. Time to go in. I go into the cabin, and there's a nice hot wood stove going. One of the big old cast iron ones where it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. Kind of, like a little cylinder, you know, completely enclosed, whatnot. Anyway, it was roaring, and I'm like, perfect. Well, I can't feel my hand, so I took off my glove, and I'm like, I'll just put my hand on the top, and that'll warm it right up. Fucking. Yeah, I felt that one real quick. You can still feel things when you think you can't feel your hand. No, you can. If it hurts enough, you'll feel it. Yeah, that one wasn't great. Not my best moment, but I was like, well, I was probably like 10, so I was old enough to know that I shouldn't have done that. But you know, just one of those. In the moment, it didn't even stop to think. Just like, oh, stove warm, hand cold, hand on stove. And warm.
そなたはどうか。え、サソリの魔法陣ですか?
The older sister snapped her fingers again. When she did, the surroundings seemed bent and twisted, and they had suddenly moved to a place in front of Kinzo's study. And there was the doorknob engraved with the scorpion magic circle.
魔術を研究するものならば。人的にも霊的にも隔絶された隠れ家が必須となる。金蔵が自らの書斎を閉ざし、このような魔除けを施したとしても不思議はない。そしてそれは困ったことに、わらわにもこうして効果がある。
Deep breaths. She gently grasped the doorknob. Sizzle. Nice barbecue. As she did, a violent burning sound, unbelievably stronger than the one caused by the spider web, rang out.
お姉様、大丈夫ですか? 手は
Her hand had been horribly burnt, and Byato couldn't help but avert her eyes.
安心せよ。
Yeah, you'll want to go, like, run that under, you know, a cool tap. Or, you know, at least get a cold washcloth and wrap it.
これ式、すぐ治る。
Apparently, it would heal by itself if left alone. The older sister seemed to heal at an inhuman rate.
だがそなたはどうやら平気らしいな。
She timidly poked the doorknob. Nothing happened. Slowly, she touched it with her entire palm, but she felt nothing but a pleasantly cool sensation.
不思議だ。そなたはわらわの分身であるにもかかわらず、わらわとは様々なものが異なっている。逆にドアノブに触れても平気ですが、お姉様のような火傷を負ったら私は簡単には治らないと思います。まるで普通の人間のようであるな。
That's crazy.
はい。私自身自分が魔女だとはちょっと信じきれていません。
Are you telling me that Beatrice might just be a normal person? That's wild.
私にはお姉様のように魔法を使うこともできないし、不思議な火傷も、そしてすぐに傷を治すこともできません。お父様は私を偉大なる魔女の生まれ変わりだと信じてくださいましたが、私にはそれが信じられなくて。そなたは何者なのか。私はベアトリーチェ。お父様のために生まれてきました。お姉様は？わらわもまたベアトリーチェ。金蔵に魔法にて黄金を授け、その後も魂となって島に縛り付けられている体を失った魔女である。私たちは一体何者なんでしょう？
Good question.
わらわと違い、そなたは体を持つ存在のように見える。
Yeah, a bit more, you know, grounded and corporeal than,
そうなんですか？
Beatrice the Elder.
あのエリカとやらの話を
Beatrice
聞いて、
Major, let's say.
わらわはふと思った。魔女であり、魔法が使えるが、体を持たぬわらわと、そして魔女であるが、魔法は使えず、肉の体を持つそなた。わらわたちはやがて一つになり、掛け合った部分を埋め合って、本当のベアトリーチェとして完成されるのではないだろうか。
It did seem plausible. Both of the Beatrices were missing something. If they were to become one, then surely they would be very close to the Beatrice that Battler desired.
試してみるか。手を出せ。
The older sister slowly raised her palm and held it out before Beato. The large burn from a second ago really had started to heal already.
わらわたちは一つになれるかもしれぬ。わらわも知りたい。そなたと一つになることで未来のわらわを知りたい。
Beato also raised her hand slowly, and the two hands touched. But nothing happened. Perhaps this meant that, while they were fated to become one eventually, that time had not yet come.
わらわにとって雲の巣が苦手なのは当たり前なこと。しかしそなたはそれを知りもしなかった。同様にそなたは自分が生まれてきた理由をお父様のためだという。そのお父様というのはどうやら後ろ宮バトラのことらしい。
Yeah, that's gonna give you some fucking whiplash.
わらわも年に数度しか訪れぬ稀な客人である彼のことは知っているが、その稀な客人の彼とそなたというわらわにどのような接点があるのか理解できぬ。わらわたちは互いをもっと知るべきに違いない。
そうですね。私たちは互いを知り合うことで本当に大切なことに至れる気がします。
Alright, go to like a conference room with like a big whiteboard and start like, jotting things down.
その向こうにいるのが一なる未来のベアトリーチェ。いや、それこそがわらわたちのあるべき正しい姿に違いない。
Ever tried doing a fusion dance? With their hands still joined, the two Beatrices swore to fill in the parts that the other lacked, and to regain their single form. Bit by bit, Beato was walking down the path that led to the former Beatrice. Whatever that means. Meanwhile, the eerie sound of the wind and the rain. Once again, I hazily regained consciousness on the top of the bed. The finger that the witch had bitten off was still attached. I didn't say it was all an illusion, just that it was still attached. After all, the pain and teeth marks as though a witch had bitten it were still there. And yet the window, which I had supposedly smashed, had been fixed as though it had never been broken in the first place. I like these scenes, they're fun. It's like how when you're reading Tsukihime, the best route is Hisu's, where you stay in bed the entire time, losing your goddamn mind. Spoilers for, an over 20-year-old game. Go read Tsukihime, I guess. How can I escape this creepy room? Why am I locked up in this eerie room, all alone? I want to get out. I have to get out. Let me out of here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, if, a little bit of inspiration might be taken from that route in particular for, this part here. Considering my man just straight up lifted CL and fucking threw her in the Higurashi. And I know he's on good terms with the Type Moon team. I'd have to check the credits for this one, but I know in the credits for Higurashi, there's like a special thanks to Type Moon. The door was sealed with a firm chain. I could open it a crack, but only enough to peek out into the corridor at best. It would probably be hard even to get just a fist through it. The windows wouldn't budge either. They were no better than barred prison windows. The bathroom didn't even have a window. The only thing that could get out through there was the water that flowed out if you turned on the tap. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't think of any way out of here. Shut in here like this, I was no more or less than a prisoner. Unless someone came from the outside to save me, I wouldn't be able to get out for all eternity. In that case, Couldn't I just call for help? Yes. The tiny gap I could make in the door had to exist so that I could call for help. But could I make the words come out? I've tried to call out for help before, but for some reason, the words couldn't escape my mouth. I might have made some kind of mistake. I might have just lost my voice in my haste and confusion. I cracked the door open one more time. The warm light of the hallway flowed in, making the darkness of the room stand out all the more. Though I couldn't hear any voices, I did feel something peaceful. I was sure that everyone was in a room at the other end of the hallway, chatting happily about something. I could just call out. Someone would surely come to save me. Holding back some indescribable fear, I tried yelling one more time. But the result was the same. It was like trying to yell underwater. All I did was get out of breath, unable to call out in the slightest. Even though I could say as much as I wanted if I just grumbled to myself inside the room. Whenever I tried to make my voice reach outside, I choked and was unable to say anything. I understood. My body wasn't the only thing imprisoned in this eerie locked room. My voice was as well. Thinking that I could use some kind of other sound to call for help, I tried opening and closing the door violently, making the chain rattle. It did sound as though it was making a noisy clanking sound, but I was sure it was no good. Even this sound was imprisoned within the locked room. No matter how harsh a sound I made, I was certain it would be quieter than a leaf falling by the time it reached the other end of the corridor. I tried using the hateful chain that sealed the door to make a sound to call for someone, but that only deepened my despair. This chain? That's insane. Even though just a second ago, it was a stiff chain that looked like it was used to seal a monster away. At some point, it had transformed into a normal chain lock. Oh, that's changed everything. Now I can just undo it from the inside. I tried to undo the chain, but I couldn't pull it off. The chain not being long enough for that, while the door was still open a crack. Of course. Good. Calm down. Gulp. I swallowed and calmly closed the door. Then, when I saw that the chain had slackened enough, I touched it with my finger to make sure. When I was little, I hated chains because I could never get them undone right. Like a chain lock on a door? Why? The most simple thing in the world, I say as I turn around to look at the one on my front door. However, that was a long time ago. I could unfasten them normally now. Anyone could. It was easy. Clink. At that moment, that terrible thought that the demon who had locked me in this room might have been using this as a trap to give me hope and then make me despair even more, finally stopped haunting me. The chain lock unfastened, and the chain dangled there right before my eyes. Now, there was no lock sealing this door. Please, don't torment me anymore and just open normally. Slowly, the door opened. I had closed the door in order to undo the chain, so the warm light from the hallway had been cut off. What if I opened it again and that warm light was gone this time? I was even afraid of that. However, that was just me over-imagining things. Slowly, expanding before my eyes. No, this is normal for a door. As the door let out an annoying creak, the exit from this cursed locked room finally opened. I did it! I did it! Even my cry of joy was strangled. But that didn't matter anymore. All that mattered was that I could get out. I poked my head out and looked left and right down the corridor. The warm corridor. I could sense people having fun at the other end. Everyone's right there. Let's go, right now. Yeah. At that moment, something cold and heartless crushed my throat. It was as though an iron loop had been fastened around my neck and pulled on hard from behind. No, not as though. Without my knowing, at some point, a thick metal collar had been fastened around my neck. When had this happened? When I turned around, I despaired even more. From the inner side of the door I had just opened, a thick chain extended, which was connected to my collar. I pulled on it, but it didn't even budge. When I shook it, the whole door creaked. What the hell? The chain that connected to my collar was attached to the inner side of the door. Yes, the same heartless chain that had secured the door a short while back had suddenly become a chain holding me in place. That's insane. That's insane! God damn it, what's going on here? I pulled with all my strength, trying to tear the whole door off. But I already knew from repeated experiments that it wouldn't even budge. I was sure this chain would disappear once I went back inside the room. But it would never let me leave it. Though it had appeared to revert to being a normal chain lock, nothing had actually changed. The fact that a chain lock bound me to that room was just as true now as ever. Tears flowing down my face, I pulled with all I had. It was completely useless. No matter what I did, I'd never tear it loose. And I wasn't even permitted to call out for help. I felt a confused anger at how that demon had mercilessly made me think for just an instant that I had escaped. But no matter how much I yelled, no voice came out, and no one on the other end of the corridor could hear me. Then I noticed an odd stain on the wall of the corridor. It wasn't a stain. They were letters, traced out by a finger that had been covered in red paint. Those letters, which looked like they had been drawn in blood, answered my biggest question. Damn, they need to work on their handwriting. The chain lock must be set. You may unset it, but it must then be reset. Unless it is set, this exit of yours will be unusable. I instantly understood the meaning of that unsettling message. Then I tried it out and understood completely. When I returned to the room and reset the chain lock, the binding around my neck disappears. When I undo the chain lock again, that heavy feeling around my neck returns. In other words, I can't escape this room if the chain lock is still unset. But that means all I need to do is set the chain lock while outside the room. Except it's probably in a position where that's impossible. I undid the chain one more time. The weighty collar and chain appeared around my neck again. I stepped out into the corridor and closed the door behind me, leaving only the slightest of cracks. I stuck my hand through the crack, grabbed the dangling chain, and tried to reset it somehow. Damn it. So easy to do from the inside, so why is it so hard to do from the outside? It's so you can't undo the lock from the outside, dumbass. The gap needed to be wide if I wanted to manipulate the chain well. However, that made the chain too short to reach. To bring the chain even close to reaching, I had to close the door as much as possible. But doing that meant that there wouldn't be enough of a gap to fit my hand in. Of course, that was perfectly natural. Chain locks are made to be done from the inside. It'd be completely pointless if you could unset them from the outside. That's why the length of a chain is specifically chosen, to prevent anyone from setting or unsetting it from the outside. Or do one better than the chain is you get kind of like it's the horseshoe-shaped bar where it flips over onto like a little knob thing on a rod, so that way it can't even there's no chain where you can take a clothes hanger and fucking fiddle with it. It's just one solid chunk with zero give. Maybe I could manage it with some kind of hard and thin tool. If the gap of the door was just a finger's width across, the chain would have enough length to reach. I could just bend a wire hanger so that it fits through the crack. And work the chain with that. That's right. There's a closet just to the side of the door. Could there be some hangers in there? Found one. Oh, thank God. Single, cheap-looking hanger, like one you might find in a laundry room, was hanging there. Really? I'm pretty sure that when I last looked a short while ago, nothing like that was in the closet. Who cares? Quickly. I had to use a wire hanger to fish a sock out from inside my washing machine that I have upstairs. I bring it up, quite often when I'm bitching about my house, but it's quite old, and it was built before, washing machines existed, in their modern variety. So there's nowhere in the basement to hook one up. I would have to, get a plumber to come out and, put in all the proper stuff, the drains and whatnot. But I'm renting, so I don't feel like doing that. So I had to buy one of these, portable washing machines where it's, a 2-drum one where, one side is where you, where the water is and the clothes actually get washed, and then once that's done, you drain it and you take it out and you put it in the other side, where it has the spinning drum where it spins it really fast and dries the clothes just a little, so that way you're not throwing dripping wet clothes in your dryer. But because of how that drum is set up, a sock got behind it, down on the bottom, so I could pull the drum back and kind of see into the housing of where it goes, and yep, that sure is my sock that I'm missing. And then I had to make my wire hanger hook and kind of fish around in there and try to get it. I formed a loop at the end to grab at things with, making for a sort of burglar's tool. I then dashed down to the corridor again and closed the door almost as far as it would go. My wrist could never pass through this. But with a door closed this far, the chain should have extra length to spare. And this crack is large enough for me to stick the hanger through. Now it's just a matter of technique. I'll definitely be able to do this if I try enough times. I'm certain of it. Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze again. Nope, saved it. It's harder than it looks. But the chain is long enough. It isn't impossible. I've finally gotten my hands on the one way to escape. It was hard, yes, but it was theoretically possible. If it was possible, then I would be able to get out. I would be able to escape from here. Oomst? At that moment, I felt a heavy weight on the far side of the door. I felt as though someone inside the room was leaning against the door with their forehead. And she, the witch, had laughed. I mean, it sounded kind of like Burn, but they're like two voices overlapped. Then, I felt a powerful and strange force of the wire hanger. She's trying to grab it away from me? Yeah, right. Like hell I'll let go. Like hell I'll let my only key out of here get stolen while my guard's down. Fortunately, I'd stuck my wrist through it so that I wouldn't drop it if my hand got tired. You won't be able to snatch this out of my hands. Just rip your hand off. The witch on the other side of the door laughed. On the other side of the door watched me and laughed once more. Then, I noticed something weird. I looked at my left hand, which I had pressed against the door to hold it in place. And between the fingers of that hand, I could see something red. It was red text. I realized immediately. At some point in time, even more bloody letters were written on the door. My left hand had been covering them up. Still fighting against the vice-like strength of the witch beyond the door, I moved my left hand to the side. Where that hand had been, bloody letters had indeed been written. It read as though someone had predicted that I'd struggle this way from the very beginning. A message directly from the witch to me. No matter the method, it is impossible to set or unset the chain lock from the outside. all tricks done from the corridor had been sealed by the red letters. No way. Really squeaky voice. There was a sudden, terrible sound, and the force that had been pulling on the hanger was suddenly released. And when I looked at the hanger that was finally free, I lost all hope. As though it had been hit by the acid of the room's darkness, the tip of the hanger had burnt and bubbled and melted away. Now it was pitifully short. I couldn't use it for anything. I was going to say anything at all, but, the sentence ended. And, my sentence, as I was saying it, just kind of stopped midway. It'd be useless to search for a substitute. All the schemes to fasten the chain from the outside had been sealed. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it! I threw the remnants of the wire hanger against the floor, faced the hallway filled with warm light, and called for help. However, I just choked, unable to speak at all. Everyone's just down the corridor, and everything's peaceful there. I can't hear their voices, but I know. I'm sure they're all having a good time playing cards. Please, someone notice me. Someone save me. This time, it wasn't the witch's voice. It was the happy voices of everyone else, which I could hear from the other end of the hallway. Someone come over here and save me! George slammed his last card down, ending the game with his victory once again. Everyone gasped in unison. The cousins' room was filled with laughter as they enjoyed their card game.
やっぱりジョージの兄貴が持ってたか。憎い。スペードの6が憎い。
バートラのダイヤの8もエグかったぜ。ああ、もう悔しい。ジョージお兄ちゃんすごい。また勝った。
Yeah, almost like you're counting cards.
そうだよ。また僕たちの勝ちだね。
Maria couldn't really hold her own in an all-out battle. So she had teamed up with George, which was why she was celebrating his victory. Cannon winced and let his cards drop to the table. The game of sevens that Ken and the cousins had been playing had been a fierce battle. Normally, it would have taken things easy since Maria was there, so this sort of game was rare. Cannon had started taking the game seriously, unwilling to lose. So, George and Battler had responded, and the battle had grown fierce. Unlike Battler, who was carefree enough to enjoy it whether he won or lost, Cannon's mood changed dramatically with each victory and defeat. It was less like a dislike for losing, more like he just wasn't used to playing games. He wasn't used to the idea that you win some, you lose some. So even a loss in a game played for fun was something he took seriously. Since he had resolved to win and had unfortunately challenged the veteran players George and Battler, the result was plain to see. As Cannon slumped his shoulders, Jessica slapped him on the back.
惜しかった惜しかった。でも楽しいぜ。本気で戦うのはね。
本気だろうとそうでなかろうと、結果が負けでは何の意味も。
Not entirely.
とんでもない。本気で戦った結果の負けならすがすがしいもんだぜ。いい加減に戦っての負けじゃ、本気出してから勝ってた云々で未練タラタラでしょ。
そうだな。全力を尽くしたやつは言い訳しない。そして結果に関わらず爽やかなもんさ。
そうだね。そしてそういう人間が一番怖いのさ。そこから必ず何かを学び成長するからね。
確かに 僕は臆病だから何も学ばなかった。だから未だに未熟なんだ。
I have furniture, so it is useless to dream. Because he had rigidly believed that, he had distanced himself from everything and shut himself away. However, during that time, Shannon had undergone many life adventures. And now, her hand rested on the door separating furniture and humans. The old canon would only have seen this card game as a way to pass the time. However, the new canon was now capable of gaining something new from this experience. This could probably be called growth. Furniture does nothing but rot with the passage of time. Being able to grow is a privilege given only to humans.
一緒に遊んでくれてありがとう。西とか書いたり忙しかったんだろ。付き合ってくれて本当にサンキューだぜ。
いいえ。
So, can I have a talk now?
僕も楽しかったです。いえ、これが楽しいことなんだって理解できました。僕を無理に誘ってくれてありがとうございます。
私たちはさ、
Man, if you think that was fun, just wait till fucking Mario
いろい
Kart
ろな
comes
こと
out.
に挑戦していこう。そして君が知らなかったものを探しに行こう。
No, only if you
それ
want
で
to.
さっきの話だけどさ、ギターとか興味ない？いや、別に無理にとは言わないけど、その
きっと難しいでしょうね。
まあね。
What, like, just guitar in general? Yeah, your fingers will hurt like a fucking bitch.
でもさ、そこは丁寧に教えるし、練習は私も付き合うから。まあ、言うほど私も上手くないんだけどね。
Well, I was about to say, your hands might be a little callous because you do a lot of, like, manual labor, but, you know, you play with the tips of your fingers, and that's not really something that gets callous super easy. You know, your pads, sure, but the tips? Ugh. At first, Cannon was scared of touching a musical instrument for the first time in his life, certain he would make a complete fool of himself. He knew that screwing up like that would make him feel bad. However, Cannon was starting to learn.
初めてで下手なのは当たり前です。
Mm-hmm.
それから逃げてたら永遠に何も学べない。何にも至れない。
そうさ。
Just gotta embrace the suck.
だからこそ人は上達を実感して面白くなるんじゃねえかよ。私だって最初はさ、右手と左手が別々に動くってだけでもう全然ダメだったぜ。でも少しずつコツが分かってくるとさ、
I'm absolute dog shit at switching between chords, like zero muscle memory.
僕もその境地に至りたいです。そのための道の一つにお嬢様との音楽活動があるならぜひご一緒させてください。
本当に？
はい、きっと最初は不出来でお嬢様を失望させてしまうこともあるでしょう。でも本気でやっての失敗だったら
Maybe start with something a little easier than the guitar.
さっきお嬢様たちに教わりましたから。
How about picking up the bongos?
照れるぜ。
お嬢様のことをもっと好きになりました。あなたは太陽のような人なのに。
Yeah,
僕
fucking laying
が
off
こんなに
thick
もずっと
bud.
近くにいたのにそれに気づけなかった。
じゃあもっと好きになってもらえるように頑張っちゃうぜ。いや
Cannon's serious and competitive words were more than enough to make Jessica shy. However, Cannon's expression unexpectedly clouded.
僕がお嬢様を好きになれる理由はだからわからなくて辛いです。
何が？
God, you're like a fucking Shakespeare character.
お嬢様が僕を好きになる理由です。お嬢様と違い僕は何も照らしてない。今だってお嬢様に照らされながら
Well, you're the
その背中についていってるだけです。
you were the closest male in her age bracket who was around that she had exposure to.
そんなみすぼらしい僕をお嬢様が好きになる理由が何一つ思いつかないんです。
そんなことはないぜ。カノン君にだっていいところはいっぱいある。
恥を忍んで
Yeah,
お聞
he's
き
like
し
a
ます。
he's a hard worker.
お嬢様は僕の何が気に入られたのですか？
Cannon hung his head. He never learned anything, so he had never been able to take the lead with her. It made him sad and frustrated that he has always been the one-sided recipient of her affection, and could do nothing but respond to it. Jessica was lost for words. After all, compared to the reason that Cannon had fallen for Jessica, Jessica's reason was a lot more vague. She had listened to Shannon talk about her love with George, and at school, she and her friends always talked about relationships with boys. There was nothing strange about a girl fascinated by the idea of romance developing an interest in a nearby member of the opposite sex. However, if she were to put that into words, she would be misinterpreted as saying any nearby boy would have done just as well. However, if nothing else, she knew what she felt at this moment. She really did love Cannon, and she wanted a relationship with him. They might end up together as a result, or they might not. But whatever the outcome, she would accept it as long as she held nothing back. That allowed her to stay true to her feelings, what she knew she felt right now, and acted on them seriously. However, she couldn't find the right words to tell Cannon this. When Cannon saw Jessica bite her lower lip in frustration, he finally realized.
バカだな。僕のどこが気に入ったんですかなんて質問。本当にバカらしいと思ったんです。自分に本気じゃないから、自分のことさえ理解できてない証拠なんだ。そんなことをお嬢様に言わせようとするなんて、僕は最低だ。
そんなことないよ。女の子だって男子に告白されたら最初に聞いてみたい質問だもん。
Is it? I mean, maybe. It's... I don't know, it's a rough one to answer.
自分のどこを気に入ってくれたのって。
それを相手に尋ねる時点で、そんな未熟者に気に入ってもらえるようなものが。
いや、そうじゃなくてその。
Jessica panicked, trying desperately to explain how she felt. However, Cannon was calm, and then he spoke.
だから僕がお嬢様を好きになるように、お嬢様にも僕を好きになってほしい。そのために
Fucking smooth, my
僕は
dude.
自分を変えていくことにします。今はまだこんな自分をお嬢様に好きになってもらえるとは到底思えません。でもいつか必ず。
ああ、絶対素敵なカノン君になれるよ。私がベタベタに惚れちゃうくらいの素敵な男の子になれる。私はそれまでずっと一緒にいるから。
Yeah, I need someone to whip you into shape.
時間なんていくらでもある。
ただ時間がそうないのが悔やまれます。
Well, yeah, the murder mystery starts in like 15 minutes.
時間って？
家具の話をするとお嬢様が悲しまれます。でも
Yeah, you won't be able to take you
話
to
さなけれ
IKEA
ばなりません。
on that date to go get the Swedish meatballs because all the furniture will just make you sad.
そしてそれは僕が本気で戦わなければならないことでもあるのです。
何の話？家具だから恋ができないとか、そういう話ならもう聞きたくないよ。カノン君は家具なんかじゃない。
はい。だから人間になろうと思います。
Mm-hmm.
ですがまだ家具なんです。
Yeah, we're still on the board.
ならなろうよ、人間に。
かつて魔女は教えてくれました。この世の一なる元素、それは愛だと。それはこの世に住まう人間は当たり前のように享受できるものです。しかし家具として生み出されたこの世ならざる身には当たり前ではないのです。その当たり前でないものを得るには魔法か奇跡が必要なんです。
In the same way that Nason and George-sama would never have ended up as they have without borrowing the power of that golden butterfly brooch.
さっきからこれがわからないの。
Cannon's just being mopey.
何がわからぬというか聞かせよ。
今回のゲームが始まり、短くない時間が シャノンやカノンの恋への決意に裂かれてきたわ。それ自体は、自らを家具と蔑んできた少年少女の青春の決意と成長の物語と好意的に見てもいい。でも二人のある前提にさっきから強い違和感を覚えるの。
What do you mean?
なぜ魔法が必要なのかであるか。
シャノンもカノンも、いえ、あえて家具と呼ぶわ。
Furniture in general.
家具たちは最初から一貫して人間とは恋愛ができないと主張してきた。
But why?
そこに黄金蝶のブローチという魔法が介在し、その魔法という奇跡の結果、ジョージお兄ちゃんとの恋愛が成立した。そう主張してるわ。
身分の違いによる許されぬ恋が実るには、魔法の奇跡でもないことにはありえぬと、そう考えたとしても無理はあるまい。
Sure.
そうね。だから使用人の身分であるシャノンとカノンが共に後宮家の人間に恋をし、許されざる恋に苦悩して自らを家具と卑下したとしても、それは納得できるの。
ではそなたの納得できない点とは。
再び魔法の力がなければ結婚はできない。それがシャノンとカノンの2人の共通認識になってる。これがどうしてもよく理解できないの。
After meeting in secret for quite some time, Jordan and Shannon had finally gotten engaged. Both were fully prepared for it emotionally, and though there would be some trouble with relatives, it had gotten to the point where it would probably be impossible for anyone to prevent their marriage.
結ばれようとする2人の間に立つなぞ。飛ぶ矢の前に立ちてそれを掴もうとするにも等しい愚行よ。
そういうこと。伴侶を生涯守りきると誓ったジョージお兄ちゃんにとって、両親の反対や感動さえ恐れるものではない。むしろそれらさえも彼女への愛を示すちょうどいい試練だとさえ思っているわ。つまり二人は必ず結婚する。誰も拒めない。
So why the magic?
そして二人は婚約を快諾した。
誰にも拒めない、阻めない、馬に蹴られてなんとやらであるな。
そう。だから不思議なの。魔法なんて必要ない。
It's a mindset, you know. They think they need it, so they do. If George and Shannon had wanted Ava's approval for their engagement, then magic might really have been necessary. After all, Ava had forbidden his relationship with her. No matter how much George spoke on Shannon's behalf, the chances of Ava being convinced were virtually zero. If that were the case, it'd be understandable if they wanted a magical miracle to make Ava acknowledge their engagement.
しかし、ジョージお兄ちゃんはきっぱりと誓ってるわ。
Yeah, just leave the
両
family.
親に婚約を認められなくても構わないと。そう。二人の婚約を阻む理由は何も存在しないの。そしてそれはシャノンだってよく知ってるはず。なのになぜ彼女はこの順風満帆の婚約を受けたこの夜になおも魔法の奇跡を祈るの？
魔法の奇跡を得なければ結ばれる資格もないというのが家具たちの主張であるな。
つまりこういうこと。シャノンはジョージの婚約を受けているけど、魔法の奇跡がなければ成就されない障害が残っていると知っていることになる。そしてその障害は二人の努力では取り除けないとも。だから魔法という奇跡が必要。
Okay.
どうして魔法がいるの？愛し合う二人に結ばれるための他にどんな奇跡が必要だっていうの？
ふむ、なるほど。
Featherin listened to Anjay's interpretation, smiling in a satisfied way. Apparently, she had already reached the conclusion and was enjoying watching Anjay finally manage to do the same.
そしてその疑問はカノンにも向けられるわ。ジェシカお姉ちゃんとの恋路は始まったばかりだけど、二人の気持ちはまっすぐ。何の障害もないわ。黄金蝶のブローチの力なんか関係なく、もう恋仲に慣れてる。何年もの交際を経て、やがては結婚に行き着いても何もおかしくない。こっちも障害は何も存在しないのよ。
クラウスとナツヒに結婚を認めさせようと思わない限り、こちらもまた魔法の奇跡は必要なさそうであるな。
そういうこと。 シャノンの生き方を見てカノンもまた生き方を変えた。そして素直な気持ちを伝え、ジェシカお姉ちゃんと二人で恋路を歩み始めた。
Yeah, very, very teenage drama sappy.
必要ないのよ、もはや魔法は。片思いの相手になら恋のおまじないも必要かもしれない。でももはや両者は相思相愛。
Anjay, have you ever heard of circus
意思も疎通
elephants?
できてる。
When they're like newborn and don't know anything, they are chained to the ground with a stake, which, as a baby elephant, they do not have the strength to pull out of the ground, so they don't even try. Then, as they grow into a full-sized elephant that could easily fucking rip that stake out of the ground, they still don't try because they still think they can't, even though they easily could.
なのにどうしてその上魔法の奇跡が必要なの？
They're trapped in a cage of their own creation in their mind. Both pieces of furniture and relationships of mutual love. There shouldn't be any need for any miracle any longer. So why do they still desire a miracle of magic? On top of that, the single brooch is portrayed as bestowing only a single miracle. Feels almost as though Shannon is hesitating because if she uses up that miracle for herself, Kanon's chances at love will be automatically sealed away for eternity.
つまりこういうことよ。どうして家具は恋をしてはいけないの？
魔法という奇跡なくしてはなぜ恋が許されぬことになっているのかか。
そして頑なに恋ができないと嘆いていた家具たちにそれを許すことのできる黄金蝶のブローチって、一体何だっていう
Nothing.
の？
It's a brooch.
もちろん魔法の結晶であるぞ。ただし多くの魔法と同様に半魔法の毒素で焼かれもする。
つまり魔女や魔法を信じる者にしか効果がないということなんですね。
If you think it's the thing that will, like, you know, your lucky charm that'll let you do this, then it is. But, you know, to someone who doesn't know that, it's just a brooch.
その通りだ。よってわらわと交流することができたシャノンにはその効果を発揮した。しかしもしシャノンがそのブローチを砂浜に落とし何も知らぬ者が拾ったとしたら、その者が半魔法の毒をまとっていたら、ブローチの魔法は力を発揮できない。そういうことだ。魔女のアイテムは直接の手渡しでなければ力を失うことが多いということだ。しかし魔女の存在を大勢の人間が認めることで半魔法の毒素がなくなり権限することができるのと同じに、大勢の人間がそのアイテムの魔力を信じれば、
皮肉な話ですね。私たち魔女がどんな魔法を授けてもそれを受け取れるかどうかは全て人間次第なんですね。
薬もそうだと聞いているぞ。同じ薬を飲んでも、その効果を知らされている人間にはより大きい効果が出るという。
Yeah, the placebo effect is interesting.
風邪薬とか飲んだ時、薬効の解説書とか読んでると薬の効きがいいような気がしますよね。
Beatrice, when are you taking cold medicine? You're fucking like you're like 5 minutes old. As she listened, Beato thought that magic sounded a bit like a charm. When most humans think of magic, they think of incredible miracles being performed one after another in front of a crowd. However, this true magic that the older sister spoke of sounded almost like a charm, something that had no effect if the person using it didn't believe. Shannon's heart was captivated by George bit by bit as he grew by leaps and bounds. However, she had given up, thinking that one of lower status such as herself would never find love with him. That was when Beatrice had given her the golden butterfly brooch and encouraged her. Giving up means you have a 0 chance of success. But if, with the power of magic, you think there might be some chance of your wish coming true, the probability then rises to something greater than 0 at the very least. 0 remains 0 forever, but if even a faint possibility were to exist, it would be no exaggeration to say that an impossible miracle had occurred compared to the time when the probability was 0. Humans can use magic to take resignation, by which they themselves make the probability of success 0 and cancel it out. When a human does not give up, though their chance of success may be small, those chances do exist. And the stronger their belief, the more those odds rise. It's easy to imagine that Shannon had made earnest wishes upon the brooch, believing in its effect, and made many little efforts to get George to like her.
信じる力が魔法になる。
そしてそれを信じさせる者が
Those who make others believe are witches. That's an interesting way to put it. If you think about it, it's true. Let's say a witch steps out into a spotlight, waves her staff in front of a crowd of onlookers, then makes a rabbit appear out of thin air. The many people who see it will surely think it was a sleight of hand. They might wonder at how it was accomplished, but they would be sure that it wasn't magic. And they would applaud the splendid trick that had appeared to be magic. But what if they conducted a sacred ceremony inside a great ancient temple in front of a crowd of believers, culminating in the exact same thing? Would any of the people there think it was a sleight of hand? In fact, in the ancient past, when magic tricks as a form of entertainment didn't even exist and divine spirits were worshipped, this would doubtlessly have been a miracle of magic.
ならこれは魔法になるでしょうか。
ほう。
Would what?
魔法の使いの魔女のそなたが初めて振るう魔法
You're
とは
gonna do
ど
the
ん
thing
な
with
も
like
のか。
your thumb in your other hand and be like, ooh, if I can pull off my finger.
ここに空の紅茶のカップがあります。中身は空です。
うん、空っぽであるぞ。それから
これを
Make some candy appear.
テーブルの上に伏せておきます。
それから一緒
に目を閉じて魔法の呪文を唱えます。
It was the same magic that had been used to give Moria candies. Beato the Elder grinned and closed her eyes. When she saw this, Beato slowly chanted the incantation.
さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。カップの中に何が入っていたのか。
うん。さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。カップの中に何が入っていたのか。
As she chanted, Beato slowly opened her eyes and made sure that the older sister was repeating her with her eyes closed. Then, a single gold butterfly appeared out of nowhere, fluttered down onto the overturned cup, and scattered away in a spray of gold.
もうよいか？
はい、目を開けてカップの中身を改めてください。
さて、そなたが初めて使う魔法は？
Taking her time and dragging out the suspense a little, the older sister lifted up the cup.
おや？
いかがでしょうか？
When the cup was lifted up, there lay a single golden rose petal.
これは魔法になるでしょうか？
Sure.
うん、なるとも。そなたが魔法にて伏せたカップの中に黄金の花びらを生み出した。見事な魔法であったぞ。
愛がなければ見えない。
Mm-hmm.
それは理解できてるの。
これを手品だと断じるもよし、魔法だと信じるもよし。
But they both believe, so therefore it can be the gold.
そのものの毒素次第であろうな。
でもこれはかつての魔法の一部を説明はできるけど、全てを説明することはできないわ。話を戻すけれど、この程度の魔法やおまじないを信じるという程度の話では、頑なに恋ができないと嘆いていた家具たちに それを許すことのできる黄金蝶のブローチとは一体何かという問いに答えられない。
そこにいる二人のベアとの話を鵜呑みにするなら、魔法には
Yeah, it's a magic
彼
item.
らの諦めを取り除く力があると考えるのが妥当であろう。
どうして家具は恋をしてはいけないの？どうして魔法のブローチの力が必要なの？確かにあんたやベアトたちの話は一見、それにおぼろげとはいえ答えを与えているような気がする。でも朗読者だから言わせて、それでは納得がいかないの。
納得とは？
家具たちはもっともっと悲壮な宿命に抗おうとしているわ。恋愛成就のお守りを託されたくらいで自己改革ができる程度のものだったとは思えないの。現にシャノンはかつてジョージお兄ちゃんとの出会いのきっかけを作ったのはブローチのおかげだけど、それ以降は魔法の力を借りずに関係を深めたいと言ってベアトにブローチを返そうとさえしたわ。彼女はその時点で一度は魔法の奇跡と決別したはず。なのになぜ再びその力を必要としているの？
さて、恋と結婚は別物としか言いようがないであろうな。
Featherin laughed lightly. She had probably formed a theory of her own and was laughing at Anjay, who hadn't reached it
聞か
yet.
せてよ、あんたの見解。
もう少し寝かせたい。それに疑問を持ち思考を巡らすそなたを見ることもまた朗読の楽しみだ。私の見解を話せばそなたはそれに納得し思考を止める。それでは朗読が面白くない。
すでに答えを知ってる推理小説を読ませて右往左往するところを見て
Yep.
楽しんでるってわけね。
Damn, it's almost like someone who already knows the story going on YouTube and watching a let's play as someone who doesn't, so that way they can like vicariously enjoy the process of someone else, you know, trying to come to their own conclusions about it.
それが感激の魔女というものだ。悪趣味と笑いたくば笑うがよい。我が巫女よ。
わははは。
I understand that a part of magic is created by a believing heart, and that magic probably permeates deep into the world of us humans as well. However, though it does permeate so far, the power that dwells within magic is small. Visiting a shrine before an important exam to pray that you'll pass is something that many people do. However, not many people will actually credit that visit as the reason for their success. Praying like this contains no power except a calming influence. In love, where even a small change and a little bit of courage can cause a major change, a small chance and a little bit of courage can cause a major change, this power might cause a massive upheaval. However, would the insurmountable fate of that those pieces of furniture claim to be in the middle of really change because of something like that? I think that in the past, the magical power of the brooch as it joined Shannon and George was a little more than a good luck charm. However, at this point, the magical power that the pieces of furniture are seeking from the brooch, praying for their love to succeed, is not something as vague as a charm. It feels much stronger, like a whole different interpretation of magic. If you believe in a sleight of hand, it becomes magic. But that's no more than a child's trick. And that only explains one part of magic. They are hoping for something. They're hoping for something with much, much more power. For true magic, not a sleight of hand.
家具たちは黄金蝶のブローチにどんな魔法を期待しているというの？
黄金蝶のブローチ？
黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが霊境を割るのと引き換えにシャノンに与えた恋を成就させる魔法のお守り。これがそれです。
Yeah, it was a reward for a side quest. From his pocket, Cannon pulled a wing of a gold butterfly. Though it was just a single wing, it was easy to tell from its distinctive shape that it had originally been part of something with a butterfly motif.
このブローチの魔法はシャノンにジョージ様と恋仲になる機会を与えました。 しかしそれを最後まで成就する前に僕に譲りました。だから僕はこのブローチの力でお嬢様の好意を得ました。
そんなわけないよ。
She's like, what are you, fucking stupid?
私がカノン君を好きになったのは自分の素直な気持ちだぜ。
ありがとうございます。お嬢様は人間だから魔女も魔法も信じない。無理もないことです。しかし
Yeah, but
魔法で生み出され
but
た
to him, it's fucking
僕
eating
が
him
こ
up
こに存在
inside.
すること自体が魔法の奇跡の存在する証拠なのです。
ごめん。何の話？
Jessica tried her hardest to grasp what Ken was trying to say. However, she couldn't understand it and had to ask him to repeat it with a bitter smile.
僕もシャノンも恋を成就させるには魔法が必要なのです。そのための鍵がこのブローチ。
Well, you think you do, so therefore you do.
僕が踏んで割ったので僕たちは一つずつ持ち合っています。
The brooch had lost its power when it was split in half. However, if it was ever joined together again, its magic would be revived. It would revive the miraculous power that could join furniture and a human together.
しかし一つのブローチは一人の願いしか叶えない。家具の僕たちはこの一つのブローチによってどちらかしか結ばれ得ないのです。
It was the single spark of love that the old Beatrice with her shrill laugh had sown on a day long ago. That Beatrice had likened humans who were tormented by the spark to ripe fruit and taken evil pleasure in their suffering. However, the magic infused within this spark was real. It was the only crystallization of magic that the Golden Witch Beatrice ever left in this world. Its shine grew brighter.
何？
大丈夫です。でも直接は見ないで目をやられます。
It grew more brilliant still, shining like the sun. Jessica didn't need Cannon to tell her to put her hands over her eyes. Wish you could have told me that, though. I don't need to see, that's fine. As the light grew stronger, the sound like the roaring of the wind or the tide also grew in intensity. It already drowned out the sound of the wind and rain outside. Jessica could no longer even stand, and she crouched on the floor. It was a flood of sound and light, and until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan. I think I'm having a seizure. Zephyr and Furfur? Those are some fucking weird pet names. Ugh.
さあさあさあ、今は大丈夫ですよ。急ぎましょう。
But with that, and that is where we're going to end it here for today. Once again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you guys all next time on the next episode of Umineko, where we'll see what Kumasawa's up to here. And hopefully I'll be a little more awake and, able to form coherent thoughts and speak in full sentences without, just stopping in the middle because I forgot how to read. Anyway, catch you guys later.